Graham's episode sponsor for $200. That's a deal. For info, contact the Motorsports Radio talk and text line at 631-649-6611. Motorsports Radio USA at gmail.com. So if you want to become a episode sponsor, we'll take care of that for you. And it's motorsportsradio.net, the home of motorsports talk. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the nitty gritty like we always do on Thursday, and that is the setup for this upcoming weekend. And as a reminder that this podcast is made available at 7:25 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursdays for on-demand listening, and you can listen anytime throughout the weekend over on MR5 at motorsportsradio.net. But this weekend, it's a Talladega double take, NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, and a Camping World Truck Series heading to the Yellowhammer State of Alabama. Interesting here, Formula One is heading to Texas, to the Circuit of the Americas. Elroy, Texas, near Austin, is about. Now this course has 20 corners, and then the track length, course length, I should say, is 3.418 miles, or 5.513 kilometers. It's Formula One. They use kilometers. And after 2007, Formula One left the U.S. for a little while and then returned in 2012 to the live music capital of the world, Austin, just outside the city limits. Circuit of the Americas, the first purpose-built Formula One facility in the U.S., and was opened on the 12th of October 2012 by Circuit of the Americas ambassador and 1978 Formula One world champion Mario Andretti. Which is interesting. Austin City Limits, they got that show on PBS. I was thinking about it today. Austin City Limits, it's usually on Saturday nights around here. We got it on Channel 21 out here in Long Island, but they do all those concerts and stuff late night, which is kind of cool if you want to stretch the Saturday into Sunday and listen to some good music. And you'd be surprised how they got some good stuff up there on PBS, and there's no commercials, so you can just jam all night long. It's pretty neat, man. The Austin City Limits, that's a good show. But now let's talk about Talladega. Talladega Super Speedway Dega. It's the restrictor plate time, 33366 Speedway Boulevard, Lincoln, Alabama, 35096. 2.666 miles. 2.66 miles of asphalt. Bankings out the corners. Turns 1 and 2 is 33 degrees. Turn 3 is 32.4. Turn 4, 32.5. The tri-oval area is 16.5. And the backstretch is 3. Back-to-back elimination races this upcoming weekend. So here we go. Now, racing fans, Motorsports Radio presents the official Motorsports Radio racing schedule. Starting with NASCAR, as we always do, and the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series Saturday afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox, on Big Fox. They're not on FS1 this week, they're on Fox, and MRN, and that's going to be the Fred's 250, powered by Coca-Cola. Just 94 laps on Saturday. And then NASCAR Sprint Cup Series racing on Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m. Eastern on NBCSN and MRN, and that's going to be for what was formerly known as the Alabama 500, now known as the Hellman's 500, and that's going to be with 188 laps. Then Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock, TV coverage starting at 2:30 on NBC, and that's going to be some Formula One racing, and that's going to be for the United States Grand Prix with 56 laps or 120 minutes. Lap record set by Sebastian Vettel in 2012, 1 minute 39.347 seconds. All right, good stuff. Now, what we're going to talk about. So we're trying to come up with something, right? As much as I like to get Motorsports Radio all year round, really the only thing we have is some news stuff. So some ideas floated around in the head of last weekend to maybe do a little news thing over the off season. It's not definite, but we might mess around with it on an experimental basis, which means it might be good, it might not be. But as the things get finalized, I'll let you know about that. But other than that, the full-blown Motorsports Radio will return on, you know the deal, we'll be back on February 22nd. Of course, we got a bunch of weeks left over. So we're kind of thinking about it because, NASCAR America and Race Hub, they go on all year round, probably like a little news update thing. Don't know if we're going to do it like once a week or twice a week. Don't know. I mean, it's not even definite, so I really shouldn't be saying it, but I think it might be a good idea to mess around with it. So if the idea comes into fruition to just keep Motorsports Radio going for a little bit throughout the off season, we'll let you know about that. Other than that, I'd just like to close off. That's it for today, man. Again, if you have any comments or questions or suggestions, motorsportsradio.net, the Motorsports Radio Fanfare, and then get some feedback from our listeners. This is a new format that we're messing around with right now because we used to be racing podcasts and we were only here one day a week on Thursdays, but we split it up, do the race recaps on Mondays, which we're going to start calling the Motorsports Radio Breakdown, and then the Thursday weekend edition where we go over racing news and the schedule and stuff. And believe it or not, for those people that are new, when we did the racing podcast, we did all the race recaps and what we do here at Thursday. So all the racing recaps, racing news, driver standings, everything all in one show. And it was just, we were pushing the 40, sometimes 50-minute mark, which is really too long for a podcast because it's listened on demand and stuff, and it's pretty much play and go kind of thing. So that's why Motorsports Radio came about. So now we do separate shows for each race. Recap for each race, different shows, and then we do Motorsports Radio Weekend Edition on Thursday. So it's kind of going pretty good. I feel that's going good. And once we get our flyers out there and start getting some real world. Well, I don't want to say real people. We're trying to expand our horizons, if you will, beyond social media, because right now it's Facebook and Twitter and all that stuff. So we're trying to get out there to hit the pavement and start mixing and mingling with some fans. Of course, next year is gonna be really super cool. It's gonna be the full first year of Motorsports Radio. This year was. Racing Podcast went for 2.5 years. In the middle of this year, decided last minute that Racing Podcast was on life support, so we had send it to the chopping block. So Motorsports Radio really doesn't have a full year under its belt at the moment, but next year will be the beginning of the first full year, which I think will be definitely more exciting. And so I'd like to say thank you for tuning in. This is Manny Allegretta, and this is Motorsports Radio, motorsportsradio.net, the home of motorsports talk.